The wildfires in Southern California are making for supply chain concerns, including transportation delays to and from LAX and the ports of Long Beach and Los Angeles. Joining us now is Dale Rogers from ASU's W.P. Carey School of Business, our go-to guy when it comes to supply chain issues. Good to see you again.
It's great to see you, Ted.
The impact of these fires, just from 30,000 feet, on supply chains in general.
Well, one of the big problems, for one thing, this is going to be the most expensive fire of all time, probably. But certainly a huge problem is that Los Angeles, which is a very important, it's the most important port in the U.S., is way more important right now because of problems on the East Coast. You know, we're waiting to see, is there really going to be a strike again? Is it all settled? You know, there's some sort of going back and forth there. And then also going through the Panama Canal is a problem. And so LA is more important than ever. And we got folks like truck drivers who are saying, hey, I'm not driving to LA. I don't want to do that. And so there's huge problems in the short term, but it could be that the long-term problems are actually worse.
Wow. You mentioned the Panama Canal. Water levels are lowing there.
Yeah, they've been in drought for a long time. There's political uncertainty there, but also they can't put as many ships through. Lock fees are just going up like crazy. And so the Port of LA volumes this past year, 2024, were up over 40% from 2023. So that's a huge change, and really most of the stuff we consume, you know, really comes in from outside the country, and it mostly comes in these days from LA.
So what do we expect regarding delays here in the short term, and especially here in Arizona?
Well, so far the Port of LA is functioning well. The problem is really after you get out of there, there's some rail slowdowns. You know, the problem with trucks, there's going to be rerouting. There's likely to be more congestion. There is congestion already, particularly one way or the other. The port is down a little bit from Altadena and the Palisades where the fire is. But, you know, LA is a big town, but it's also sort of a small town because all those roads are connected.
Yeah, the transportation issues must be just outrageous. And getting worse.
Huge slowdowns. And that stuff's not going to come back right away.
Right. And folks right now that are without, a lot of folks over there are without homes. I mean, is there going to be a labor issue here as far as supply chain issues?
There already is, actually.
Really?
I mean, you know, if you really look at how come we have been able to reduce inflation a little bit, it's a lot because of our access to energy, which it's a funny thing. The Republicans are for that. The Democrats don't want to drill more oil. But on the other side, the influx of labor that we're mostly getting from across the border, other places too, but from across the border, that's also reduced inflation. And it's going to be harder because, you know, for one thing, it's going to be less affordable likely in Los Angeles.
Yeah. And again, even now, there are people who have other things going on. Probably employment might be the last thing on their mind as they're trying to find out where their house is.
Home.
Where to live. Power outages in the Los Angeles area. Impact on supply chain issues, ports and airports?
Absolutely. So, you know, computer systems have been down. There's good backups in general, but you can't suffer trauma like this and have it work immediately.
And again, you kind of referred to this earlier, but there's kind of a lagging effect here, correct?
Right. So the short-term impact, I think, is big, but I think the long-term impact will be harder. For one thing, think about the sort of sucking of the construction. Construction costs already are too high. We're likely in the next 4 years to be tougher about things across the border. Remember how much inflation went up when we sort of stopped Canadian lumber primarily from coming in. We're gonna see. I mean, this is the most expensive fire ever.
Are there particular sectors that will be especially hit?
Well, construction it'll be great, but it'll also be more expensive. I think housing is going to be really tough. There's not places to to put people down there. This is a pretty big hit.
How much of that hit will we experience here in Arizona?
It'll probably be, in some ways, good for us in Arizona. We're going to see businesses, we're going to see people coming over here. I mean, maybe some people in Arizona don't want more people here, but overall, I don't think it's going to be bad for us. People are going to say, man, I already been thinking about the costs in California and moving our distribution center, our office, or whatever to Arizona, and this could be another reason to get the heck out of California.
Are there lessons to be learned when it comes to supply chain issues again? Are there lessons to be learned from this fire in terms of didn't see that coming, should have seen that coming, let's make sure it doesn't happen
the
again?
response has been pretty good by managers, particularly coming out of the pandemic, where you had some, hoarding and so on. There's been a little bit of that, but it hasn't been too big. And really, all big companies know how to handle an emergency. We really, I would go back to Katrina, which is now 20 years ago, 2005, 2004, 2005. We've really gotten much better at emergency management. And then following the pandemic, we're a lot better than we used to be.
Well, encouraging words there, Dale Rogers, W.P. Carey School of Business. Always a pleasure. Good to have you.
Always good to see you.